Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is my DoorDash summary for Friday, September 26, 2025. No comments, no tomfoolery, 4.4. Thank you very much. I'm approaching the 5,000 delivery mark, guys. I've been talking about this. Entering today's dash, I would have needed 21 deliveries to get 5,000. Was probably not gonna do that many, but you never know, and you'll see in this by the end of this video how close I came to that. And just for fun, just as a little like calculation, I was trying to think of earlier like how many deliveries that a driver would need to have for DoorDash to where they would reach like immortality. And I was trying to brainstorm, 10,000 deliveries. There's probably been 10,000 drivers that have gotten 10,000 deliveries. So I would not think that's probably fairly common. I know there was a while back a gig tuber that I saw on YouTube that had somewhere around that 25 to 30,000 range. And I was just kind of thinking, well, what would I consider to be an insane number to where you would just be immortal if you hit it? Like, what would I consider that to be? So I did like a calculation just for fun. Um, so so for me, if it would be a driver, let's just say that average, like I just went with 15 deliveries per day and full-time DoorDash and only took about 14 days off in a year. So that's 351 days, okay? Times 15 times, and I'm going to say 30 years, doing that for 30 years. Okay, so that comes out to 157,950 deliveries. But I think we could round that down. I would go with 150,000 deliveries. So anybody that is able to reach that for DoorDash or any of these platforms, really, 150,000 with Uber Eats or whatever we're talking about here, I think you can pretty much, that you're a god at that point, basically. um, okay, but anyway, let's get to my dash today. And number one on the, towards 21 deliveries. So I logged in early again today, got a 754 mile IHOP. So went ahead and did that, pretty routine. And there you see 350 and a $4 tip. And right away I get an upside down Taco Bell. That's a decline. $4 3.5 mile Wendy's. I went ahead and took this. It's still early, and I might not get. That's right when Meyer opens, and sometimes it takes 20 30 minutes to before I'll get an order from there. So I went ahead and did this, and this just took 17 minutes. Made my $4, and check it out. Well, I gotta move this. Let's move this over here, actually. So there it is, 2 minutes, 2 seconds. Be right back at you. All right, and then I came home. And on my way home, I didn't get any orders. And my wife, she worked late last night and she was trying to sleep, but the dog, got her up and wanted to go outside. So I threw my dash in a pause so I could go to the bathroom and help her out with the dog so she could get back to sleep. It was only a 5-minute pause. A minute later, I get a 775 6 mile Tim Hortons. This is order number 3. Did not get a pay screen on this because I've talked about it before. My pet peeve, an order comes in, another offer, and you can't get a screenshot of your pay screen. So thank you very much. I don't know. I don't know why that bothers me so much. I can't stand that, guys. I can't stand it. Some of this little crap that gets to me. So as I'm delivering the Tim Hortons, I get a breakfast catering order. I talked about this a couple videos ago, how I got that McDonald's breakfast catering, and it had been like I couldn't remember the last time I got a breakfast catering order. And here this week I get two of them. So go figure. Uh, Little problem with this one, it's going into downtown Columbus. Okay, so thank you. But I'm traditionally, I'm not as worried going down in there in that 7 o'clock hour as I would be the 8 o'clock hour. So if I got this at 7:59, yeah, I'm in all likelihood declining it. But 6:59 in the morning, I was pretty confident that I could grab this, get into the danger zone, and get out of there, unscathed. So I get to Jolly Pirate and check this out: 11 dozen donuts. So that went into two catering bags and delivered at 7:27. I had this done in less than a half hour. No problems getting down there. The customer's instructions was very helpful. I think their office was like on a fourth floor, but in the instructions she said, "I'll meet you in the atrium." And I wasn't real sure like what that meant until I got down there. I parked somewhere where it wasn't really a parking spot. I put on my four-way flashers, and there was this walkway with a curved, big, huge arch, and a walkway. And as soon as I got out of my car, got the stuff out of the trunk, I seen her with a cart walking towards me. So easy. 750 from DoorDash, 1287 tip. And then right away I get this upside down Starbucks decline. And then a minute later, Einstein Brothers Bagels going back to zone. So normally you'd say, wow, 750, 13 miles. But this, I accepted this because, see, I was going to have to deadhead about 10 miles back to zone without getting any money. And so this gives me, on my return trip back to zone, I get $7.50. And this actually delivered like south part of my zone, like where the Meijer is, and that's where I want to be. So this was perfect. And there was an add-on that you see here, the timer on this screenshot down to 1 second. I just did not see this in time. I would have accepted this, but I only had, I took the screenshot. I didn't know how much time, when I took the screenshot, I didn't know how much time was left. So I took this screenshot and then boom, it was gone. So I kind of missed out on that. I drove down, this is the address on, no, the address isn't on here, but I'm pretty sure it was High Street. But I drove down past where this was, and I didn't see it at first. I saw the Potbelly, but I didn't see the Einstein, and there wasn't, no parking signs all along there, both sides of the street. So I turned and went back behind the buildings, And I ended up parking, if you could picture like a city block, that was on like one corner. And I parked behind the buildings, the opposite corner of the block, in a legitimate parking spot near the garage entrances. And then I walked to, and I when I walked around the building and came back, then I saw this place. But it was kind of a lengthy walk. What walking around from the back along the side and down the whole front of that office building. Um, and then as I was picking this up, another driver, parks right there outside the front door, right on the street, which is, which I would have done maybe had I seen the place on the first pass. Um, Delivered at 7:57, so less than a half hour. Made the 7:50, and I was in a good location back in my zone. 5:50 and a $2 tip. Um, okay, so then right away I get a Meyer. This is order number 6. 1658 miles, 18 items. Let's go for it. This was all 18 items. It was 1 gallon of milk and 17 different baby foods, all like the same kind Gerber, second foods, but 17 different flavors of that, all of them in like one section. And I see something like this, and I'm like, there's gonna be one or two of these that I'm gonna have to substitute. I mean, that's almost a surefire guarantee. But I get back to that section, and it was well stocked. I couldn't believe it, and I found all 17 of these baby foods. Unbelievable. I mean, shock of all shocks. I even thought about titling the video with, DoorDash, I found all the baby food! Exclamations. But I'm going to go with a different title. But yeah, and it took me 11 minutes. It was a little time consuming. I'd find one, then, I'd have to, go like this and scan all of them to find, okay, there's the next one. I get the, because I couldn't, maybe if I seen something, I couldn't remember where like the matching game. I was never good at that. So, like, even if I saw one of the flavors, I wouldn't be able to remember where it was. I'd come to the third item, I sit there and scan again. Okay, fourth item. So, but it only took 11 minutes total. Okay, and then don't have the time on here, but folks, you know what time it is. I want to drop that off, and there is my signal strength right there. Thank you very much. Again, I've said this before, thank you to the Verizon representative who told me, oh, you don't have anything to worry about. You'll have a signal in the whole entire state of Ohio except for just one little square mile along the West Virginia border. Whatever. I deal with no signal practically on a daily basis in central Ohio with this cell phone service. Thank you very much. It's so aggravating. I had to drive, and I wish there was a timestamp on this, but I had to drive. It was at least 3 miles away, 4 miles away before I could close out this order. And I actually got logged all the way out of DoorDash, the app. Got logged all the way out. Had to sign in, had to have the 6-digit authentication code sent to my phone and the whole 9 yards to get logged back in when I got a signal and close out this order. I don't know, guys. So this took like almost 45 minutes to make the 16.50, 9.50 and a $7 tip. Okay, what are we up to now? Numbers 7 and 8. $22, 19-mile target. You know, this is I took it. It's kind of raunchy, and you got it's involves three different zones. I'm picking up in my zone. Then the first delivery is in downtown zone, and then the third delivery is a west zone delivery. So triple zone action here. Um, Unreal. There you see just the Mylantus, this Gator Elite or however you say it, and the freezer pops, and the other customer, great, a bouquet of flowers, just great. Um, this Gator Elite. I'm a tall guy. I'm 6 feet tall. I normally can reach just about anything in a store on high on a shelf or whatever. There's no way I would be able to get this. This was at the very back of the top shelf, and unless I would have tried to climb the shelves, which I'm not going to do, I'm too heavy. I'd probably break something. So I had to get some help. Tracked down an associate. She had to go to a back room, get the step ladder, and yeah. And then, so I finish at, so even still, this was only 10 minutes. So, and then I couldn't believe these. I hate these kind of substitutions. I can't stand this. What I found was a dozen pink roses, $16. And you see here, so here's what the customer re- requested up top here. And what I got, and the wording is word for word exactly the same thing. The picture is exactly the same. All the wording, everything's exactly the same. Um, Yet it went down as a substitution. It's completely stupid. But I guess everything, comes around or whatever. Then later in the dash, I had some donuts that I substituted, but that did not go in the system as a substitution. So these two things, I guess, like evened out. I guess. I don't know. Dropped the first order off at 9:21 and then 9:36. So this took almost an hour for the $22. 14.25, a $5 and a 3.50 tip. Okay, and then had to wait, but you see there about 9 minutes. This is I decline this. This is all taking place in West Zone and only paying $5, so not interested. And then right away I get something better. This is 50 cents more and 2 miles less. Great. Okay. Only two things to shop. It's a Mountain Dew and a 6 count of 5 hour energies, which those were locked in a case. So I had to grab an associate and unlock that case for me. And delivered at 10:04, 19 minutes to make the $6. So, not great there, but 3.25, $3 tip. And that was number 9. Okay. $9, 9 mile Home Depot, not doing it. 2 minutes later, 8.25, 7 mile Chick-fil-A, but that's out of zone, decline. This one, 825 5 mile. Well, what are the items? No cake pans, and then this candle scared me. As those two things scared me. Nope, not doing it. Uh, Upside down KFC decline. That took me down to 51%. Upside down McDonald's going past Orient. Absolutely not. 5 minutes later, $6 4 mile Starbucks. Let's do it. 18 minutes for the $6, 2 and 4. Okay, great. And then we get a 13.50 5 mile Meijer. 8 things to shop for. This is number 11. I parked at the GM side because I seen this charcoal, and then all the rest of this is grocery. And I had to substitute the charcoal. This was kind of aggravating. They must have had along that wall like 6 or 7 pallets of Kingsford. And you can't have one pallet of Meijer brand sitting there. I think I did see one bag of Meijer chart, but it wasn't even on a pallet, and it was all like beat up and busted. So I couldn't get that. I was gonna have to substitute. And then also this celery had to get substituted. They didn't have the 1 1/4 pound bag. They just had like little half-pound bags. So thank you. So I had to substitute stupid celery. And there's the charcoal substitution. And I didn't know that there was some kind of hole or whatever in that bag. Like after my dash was over and everything, I go to take my bags. I clean out my car, and there's like charcoal dust all over my catering bags. Had to take a vacuum out there, and that's kind of frustrating. Delivered that at 11:18. Wow, that was like over a half hour for the 13.50. 6.75 on the base pay and the tip. 10.50 6 mile Giant Eagle. Only 3 things to shop. Let's do it. Here's number 12. So I'm on my way to Giant Eagle, and why the city had to do this on a Friday afternoon, almost at high noon here. Hoover Road, which is one of the major roads in my zone, it's where the high school sits on. They had it shut down to 1 lane for both directions of travel. So there was flagger. They turned the light off at that intersection and just had people directing traffic. They'd let one line of traffic go, stop them, let the other direction of traffic go and it was, traffic backed up. I got into that mess, and I couldn't see what was going on. I didn't know that they had shut it down like that. Otherwise, I would have taken another route. I thought it was just, I already knew the road was ripped up. And there was where you had to drive between like a paved and unpaved road, and there was a bump sign, and you had to drive over a bump. I just thought people were being really cautious at that intersection. I had no idea it was like shut down the way it was. So you see here, they wanted me to get there at 11:38. It took me 19 minutes just to get to the Giant Eagle. I was only a couple, I don't know, 2.5, 3 miles away from it. It took me 19 minutes to get there, which normally it'd take like 5 minutes. And got there 1 minute late, if you will. But yeah, and then I had to, after my dash was over and coming home, I had to take an alternate route. I wasn't gonna mess with that again. I can't imagine. Guys, I can't imagine if they still had that setup going when the high school's let. I'm recording this. It's right now like 3:08. The high school's letting out about right now. Nightmare. Now, if they didn't do something with that intersection by the time the high school let out, nightmare. Glad I'm not involved. Um, so once I got in there, this is only a 4-minute shop. You know, found this stuff right away and delivered 13 minutes later. So uh, so 26 minutes total, even with that, or wait a minute, no, I'm sorry, 36 minutes. 36 minutes, but like 19 minutes of that was just getting to the Giant Eagle. I mean, I still did halfway decent, I guess, even with that delay. $5.50 and a $5 tip. Now I'm at 122 bucks. Right away, Best Buy, 2 items. I don't know, probably not, but what are the items here? Some kind of car charger and some kind of USB-C to C charge thing. Decline. That's what all of that is a decline. Thank you very much. 1454 mile Giant. This is more up my alley. So let's go back to the scene of the crime. This is going to be delivery number 19. This was all donuts, and the loaf cake here and cookies. So this is I mentioned these are the donuts right here that I didn't see, and I asked an associate, and she said, well, actually, she said, we don't have that, but this 12 count over here, the package said maple donuts, but she said they were just regular glazed donuts. She said this is actually cheaper than this 8.29 here that the customer ordered. And so I sent a picture to the customer and told him that. And he said, yeah, go ahead and get that then. And so I forced that substitution. I scanned it a couple times and then I chose, I have the correct item and took the picture. And normally that when you finish your shopping, it shows as a substitution, but it didn't on this one for some reason. So this shop counted as a 6 for 6. Delivered at 12:25, so less than a half hour. Made the 14.50, $5.50 and a $9 tip. Easy drop off. The guy met me outside. Pretty easy. So now I'm just $13 away from goal. I was on the phone with my wife. I said, well, I think, if I get a $10 or $11 offer, I think I'll just do that and stop. And she said, no, $13. You need to make that full goal. Minute later, not doing Home Depot for only $5. Okay. And here's the items, but just it wouldn't matter what the items were, not doing it. Then they try to stack it with this Panera, like a $3 Panera. So no, not doing that. $13. Aldi's, 9 things to shop for. Let's do it. Okay, $13. Boom, pause orders after delivery. Here's the list here. And this ended up being super, super easy. I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, boom, done. And look at the time here, 6 minutes. I had 9 different items shopped in 6 minutes. Boom, up to the checkout. And then delivered this at 12:56. So 19. What is that? 19 minutes or no? 29 minutes for $13. 6 and 7. And there you see my $150. And that was delivery number 14. And I stopped there. So that means tomorrow I should do 7 deliveries tomorrow. I got my other gig from 5:30 in the morning until whenever that gets done. Then I'm jumping on to DoorDash, and I should do 7 deliveries tomorrow and get the magical 5,000. So let's get the stats here. 14 deliveries, $150.12. You see there 7 hours, 10 minutes dash time, 6 hours, 17 minutes active. So less than an hour of downtime today. Now at, of course, 4,993 deliveries. The DoorDash count right now in the system, they have 5,018 for me on their inflated count, and raised the acceptance rate up to 52%. And on my Pro Shopper, I'm wanting of course, from 10 days ago, the theft on 9/16. I had all the shopping orders with discrepancies up through the September 14th have all like dropped off, because it's last 40 shopping orders. So I've got one shop that was from 9/15 that's going to fall off next after I do another shopping order or two or whatever, and then we get to September 16th. So I don't know exactly how many shopping orders, but maybe if I do 6 shopping orders tomorrow, somewhere in that neighborhood, maybe that theft order falls off tomorrow. Who knows? I could, hit Pro Shopper tomorrow after the dash is over. We'll see. So I could get that and the 5,000 delivery. So it could be a very eventful day. That is it for now, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate it very much. As always, be sure to drive safe out there, and we'll catch you at the next video. We'll do this all again tomorrow. Thanks again.